One land, one people, two nations, and a history that changed the course of East Asia forever. Stretching across East Asia between China and Japan, the Korean Peninsula has long served as a strategic crossroads in the region. Since the end of World War II in 1945, this land has been divided along the 38th parallel into two separate states, North Korea and South Korea. Early history. According to tradition, the first Korean kingdom, Gojoseon, was founded in 2333 BCE by Dangun, a legendary figure believed to be the descendant of heaven. By the 3rd century BCE, political power in the southern regions of the peninsula was held by the Jin state. Over time, Gojoseon passed through three major phases: Dangun Joseon, Gija Joseon, and Wiman Joseon. In 108 BCE, the kingdom was conquered by China's Han dynasty, which established 4 administrative commanderies in northern Korea. However, within a few decades, all but one collapsed, leaving only the Leilang Commandery. The northern part of the peninsula and Manchuria was then occupied by Buyeo, Goguryeo, Okkeo, Dongye, and other minor statelets. In the south, the Jin state gave rise to loose confederacies such as Jinhan, Byeonhan, and Mahan, 3 kingdoms of Korea. The 3 kingdoms of Korea comprised Goguryeo, Siya, and Baekje, beginning in the 1st century AD. Goguryeo gradually conquered its neighbors and occupied the northern part of Korea, while Baekje and Siya grew to control the southern regions. By the early 6th century, the kingdom of Silla had expanded its influence across large portions of the Korean peninsula. In the 640 s, Silla allied with China's Tang dynasty to defeat Baekje and later Goguryeo, bringing the central and southern regions of the peninsula under a single state known as Unified Silla. At the same time, the northern territories were governed by Balhae, a kingdom established by King Go. Toward the end of the 9th century, Silla's authority weakened, leading to the emergence of the later 3 kingdoms, later Silla, later Baekje, and Taebong. This period of division ended in 1935, when the peninsula was reunified under the rule of Goryeo. Goryeo and Joseon dynasties. Goryeo was established in 1918 by Wang Geon, who sought to revive the legacy of the earlier Goguryeo kingdom. With its capital at Kaesong, the new dynasty steadily expanded its authority and, over time, succeeded in unifying most of the Korean peninsula under a single rule. Goryeo became known for its strong centralized government, cultural achievements, and its strategic position in East Asia. During the 13th century, Korea faced a series of devastating Mongol invasions between 1230 and 1270. After prolonged resistance, Goryeo was forced into submission and became a vassal state and mandatory military ally of the Mongol-controlled Yuan dynasty in China. Although the dynasty retained its royal line and internal administration, its sovereignty was severely limited during this period of foreign domination. In the late 14th century, internal strife and declining authority weakened Goryeo's hold on power. Following a military coup, General Yi Song-gae overthrew the dynasty and, in 1392, founded the Joseon dynasty. The capital was relocated from Kaesong to Hanyang, marking the beginning of a new political and cultural era on the Korean peninsula. Joseon reached its height under the reign of King Sejong the Great, whose rule was characterized by sweeping administrative, social, scientific, and economic reforms. Among his most enduring achievements was the creation of Hangul, the Korean alphabet, which greatly increased literacy and remains a cornerstone of Korean identity. Despite these advances, Joseon faced immense challenges in the late 16th century. Between 1592 and 1598, the kingdom was devastated by large-scale Japanese invasions, which caused widespread destruction and loss of life. In the aftermath, Joseon was further weakened by invasions from the latter Jin and, subsequently, the Qing dynasty. As a result, it became a subordinate state of the Qing Empire, entering a new phase of foreign influence and political constraint, Korean Empire and Japanese occupation. During the 19th century, the Joseon dynasty pursued a strict policy of isolation from the outside world, a stance that led foreign observers to label Korea as the Hermit Kingdom. This approach was intended to preserve internal stability, but it left the country vulnerable to growing foreign pressure. As regional power dynamics shifted, Joseon was eventually compelled to open its ports, marking the beginning of intensified foreign intervention, particularly from Imperial Japan. The balance of power in East Asia changed dramatically after the Sino-Japanese War and the signing of the Treaty of Shimonoseki. These events effectively ended Qing influence over Korea and resulted in its recognition as an independent and autonomous state. In 1897, King Gojong formally declared the establishment of the Korean Empire, seeking to strengthen national sovereignty. During this period, Russia emerged as a major foreign influence in Korea, though its presence was short-lived. Russia's role in Korea came to an abrupt end following its defeat in the Russo-Japanese War, which cleared the way for Japan's dominance on the peninsula. In 1905, Korea was reduced to a Japanese protectorate, losing control over its foreign affairs. This process culminated in 1910, when Japan formally annexed the Korean Empire through the Japan-Korea Annexation Treaty, renaming the country Chosun. Under Japanese rule, the Korean people endured widespread repression and exploitation. More than 5 million Koreans were conscripted into forced labor. Thousands of men were compelled to serve in the Japanese military, and an estimated 200,000 girls and women were subjected to sexual slavery for the Japanese armed forces. This period left deep and lasting scars on Korean society and national memory. Division and the Korean War. Following Japan's unconditional surrender at the end of World War II in 1945, Korea was divided along the 38th parallel. The northern half came under Soviet control, while the southern half was administered by the United States. As Cold War tensions intensified, this temporary division hardened, and in 1948, two separate states emerged: North Korea, formerly known as the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, and South Korea, officially the Republic of Korea. Tensions soon erupted into open conflict. In 1950, North Korea, backed by the Soviet Union, launched an invasion of the South, igniting the Korean War. Although the fighting eventually ceased, no formal peace treaty was ever signed. As a result, the Korean peninsula remains divided today by the heavily fortified Korean Demilitarized Zone, modern Korea. After the war, South Korea experienced enormous economic growth in a period known as the Miracle on the Han River, giving rise to major conglomerates such as Samsung, Hyundai, SK Group and LG Corporation. In 1987, South Korea transitioned into a constitutional democracy. Today, it is a leading global economy and a major cultural exporter through the Hallyu Wave. Meanwhile, North Korea, under Soviet influence, adopted a communist system. The dissolution of the Soviet Union in 1991 led to a severe economic collapse. In the 21st century, Kim Jong-il and later his son Kim Jong-un pursued nuclear weapons, creating ongoing international crises. In 2018, the Panmunjom Declaration was signed by North Korean leader Kim Jong-un and South Korean President Moon Jae-in, announcing their intention to officially end the long-standing Korean conflict.